Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas,
I'm Karen Deloach.
and welcome to Love Letters. Love Letters are collections of love stories of people get lost, get crazy, and disoriented in the name of love. And today we have a special episode again because we're gonna read one of our letter sender asking for, well, what would it be? I think it's asking for building and lasting and fruitful marriage. Wow. Amazing. So let's read Miss Karen. And the letter says like this: Dear Karen Deloach and Daniel Lucas, I hope this email finds you both well. I have been following love letters and truly appreciate the thoughtful and heartfelt advice you share. Today, I find myself seeking your wisdom and on a deeply important topic: how to build a marriage that not only lasts but also thrives. Wow. Nice letter, right, Miss Karen?
Yes.
Marriage is a journey filled with love, challenges, and growth. I want to ensure that my relationship remains strong, resilient, and fulfilling for both my partners and me. In your experience, what are the key ingredients for lasting and fruitful marriage? How can I continue to nurture love, trust, and connection through the years? Additionally, what advice do you have for overcoming obstacles that couples inevitably face? I would be incredibly grateful for any insights, practical tips, or personal experiences you could share. Your guidance would mean so much as we navigate this beautiful yet complex journey. Thank you for taking the time to read my message. I look forward to your advice and appreciate all the work you do in spreading love and wisdom. Warm regards, Sally from Indonesia. Thank you, Miss Sally from Indonesia. So, Miss Karen, what can you say about our letter sender?
Well, it's a great question because that's what we're really looking for. When we get married, when we make a commitment, have someone make a commitment to us, that's what we're looking for is longevity. But we don't want to just be married for a long time. We want it to be rich and thriving and full of the love and growing intimacy that two people should be able to share when they've been together for a long time. My parents divorced just before their 25th wedding anniversary. They had raised four children. My brother was only nine. I was the oldest at 19. And I can tell you it was devastating, even at that point in time. But the marriage had been on the rocks for a long time. My father's alcoholism definitely played a big role in why my parents divorced. I found out today from my daughter, who's 28, that one of her best friend's parents are getting divorced. They've been married 30
Oh,
years, but for a very long time, they had been living in separate bedrooms. Well, that's not the kind of life, even if you have children, that you really want to build. So, your question, Sally, is really important because we don't want to just be together for the children's sake or appearance's sake or financial sake. We want to be together because we love each other, because there's a
yes.
great deal of commitment and joy. Now, life ebbs and flows. And when you're raising a family, having careers, there are difficult times, there's financial problems sometimes or health problems, or you have maybe a parent, older parent that you have to take care of. So there's all kinds of demands on your time and affections that can sometimes hinder your marriage. And the only way that it can be sustained and truly thrive is if you both make a point to make your marriage a number one commitment, that you spend time every day reconnecting. I know for my husband and I, I've talked about this before, we go on a nightly walk. We hold hands and we talk about our day. If he worked outside the home, if I did, or something was going on with the children when they were younger, or even now our grandchildren, now that we have grandchildren, you're always a parent, right? Even if they're grown. So our children are grown, but we want to make sure we still have that connection, that we keep that intimacy. We also have little affectionate touches when we see each other. We always kiss each other hello, kiss each other goodbye, have little hugs and touches of affection all during the day, because it really does keep that spark alive. What brought you together, what caused you to be in love in the first place. Yes, it changes as you get older, but that doesn't mean it doesn't get even better. It's different, it changes, but I promise you, we've been together 33 years. I got my ring on February 20th, 33 years ago. I still have the same ring. It still fit me. And we are closer now than we've ever been. I brought 2 children into the marriage, and then we had a child right after the first year. So we had a lot of responsibilities from the get-go. And quite frankly, those took a lot to work through. Those first 10 years weren't simple, they weren't easy, but I'm so glad that the commitment we had, the love we had for each other, and for the commitment we made before God kept us when we didn't know how everything could work out. So, yes, Sally, you may be having, good times, bad times. Stick it out, talk it through, let that trust to continue to build as you keep honesty between you and affection between you.
Miss Karen Deluxe, congratulations for those 30 years to come. So, Miss Sally, a fruitful and lasting marriage are built on a foundation of love, trust, and mutual respect, where both our partners are committed to growing together through life challenges and joys. So, Miss Karen, what is important is, I mean, in relationship, how important is openness to
Well, that's
each
how you
other?
build trust. But I
Yeah.
know for my husband, because he had such a traumatic childhood, way worse than I did, openness was difficult for him. It was like he's had to unfold his heart as commitment and trust, as he learned more and more through the years that he could trust me with more and more of his heart. He gave me all he could. He wasn't holding back, but there were just some very strong walls built. And if you have a spouse, or in a relationship with somebody that had a lot of trauma, there may be some things they still have to work through, that doesn't have to do with how much they love you, but it's something that you need to have prayerful patience for as they work through those. One of my son's best friends was in the Marine Corps overseas. Well, he came home to his wife with PTSD. Now, it's not his fault, but there's some problems with the openness because of some of the trauma he experienced as a soldier, out in the field, the things he saw, the things he witnessed, what he really traumatized him. And so she's had to exhibit patience and understanding to help him get through the nightmares, get through the difficult times. He's been under doctor's care to get through it. But life throws us curveballs. So you think you fall in love, you get married, you're so excited to be together, but life has a way of throwing these things at you, and the love really depends on the openness that you're describing, Daniel, that you are able to share what you're going through. That you're able to say, it's not you, I'm going through something right now, and just pray for me. And prayer is so powerful. Something else I wanted to mention, Sally, as women, we have lots of words, right? You hear me doing most of the talking here. It's very important that you show respect to your husband and don't put him down.
Yes.
Men's hearts can be wounded too. They don't want to hear your negativity. Even though we want to be open, but maybe it's better to have a best friend or a counselor or a pastor, somebody who can you can share any problems that you're having, get the help you need, but don't put your husband down with your words. You can tear down your own house with your words. So be careful. You can be open, and it's okay if you're hurt about something to be honest about that, but don't let your words really tear the other person down or threaten their respect.
Yes, Miss Sally, your marriage will thrive if you open everything, open communication, unwavering support, and shared vision for the future, ensuring that love deepens over time. So, Miss Karen, how strategies can couples use to resolve conflicts in a healthy way?
Well, as I mentioned about for my husband and I holding hands and taking a walk, and sometimes when you're angry, you don't wanna hold hands. You've got your hands over your chest and you're like, "I'm not open. I'm not feeling open to you right now. I'm hurt." And those are things that's okay to say, look, what you said hurt me, or what you did, you forgot my birthday, or, whatever it is that's bothered you, being honest about what's bothering you, but not in a way that is threatening or angry. It's really important that you try not to let the sun go down on your anger, but that you can say, look, this is something I'm having a problem with. Can we work this out? And that's where that openness is saying, this is an ongoing issue. What can we do to find a way through this and still maintain our closeness? Because people are people. We have faults. We have weaknesses. We're not all we're none of us are perfect. So when it's hard enough to get along with yourself, let alone with somebody else. So it's really important to be honest about your feelings and to find ways when you're not angry to talk about it, because that's what I found. I couldn't share what I was going through when the emotions were high. It had to be when we were at peace and I could say carefully, I need to talk about this. When's a good time? It may not be my schedule. It may be his schedule when he's ready to hear what I have to say. And then I have to say it, to be honest, but not putting the other person down. And your words are important. That saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, is a big fat lie. Words can hurt us. So be
Yes,
careful your words. So that's a good strategy, is to discuss the differences and the struggles you're having when things are peaceful, not when you're angry with each other.
definitely. But before we go on, Miss Karen, we want to plug our upcoming podcast this coming March. Bible verse 101. Well, this podcast will empower your spiritual growth. Don't you think, Miss Karen?
I really hope and pray it does, that lots of people will gain insights and just anointings from the word that will touch not just their minds, but their hearts and souls with the truth of the love of God, and fall in love with the word like we have, and get strength from it and guidance from it and wisdom from it.
Definitely. So, Miss Sally, by embracing patience, forgiveness, and willing to understand each other's differences, a couple can cultivate a relationship that remains strong and fulfilling. So, Miss Karen, how does active listening continue to a strong, enduring relationship?
Active listening is a learned skill. And
Yes.
it's not something that necessarily comes naturally. We wanna have our word spoken, we want to have our answer before we finish listening. Because the truth is, we can listen faster than people can talk, so
Yes.
like you said, patience, having that patience to let the person get their words out, before you form your opinion or before you interrupt. I know that was a big one for my husband. He hated being interrupted. That was one of the big things. I had to learn to be patient to have my say until he was finished, or it was going to shut him down. So, you learn each other as you go through and find out what works to bridge those gaps or those hurt places or wounded places. Forgiveness, you mentioned forgiveness, and that is huge because we can get a big old pile of offenses. And if we hold on to those things, it can really totally undermine our love for each other. So you have to keep that list short of offenses. Give them to God, throw them in the sea of forgetfulness, choose to forgive them. And sometimes we have to forgive ourselves too. We know we got angry. We know we did something wrong. We know we weren't as kind or loving or serving our spouse as we should have been. And we can ask them for forgive us. And hopefully they'll forgive us too. Because I know that's one of the things my husband's always been really good at is humbling himself and saying, I'm so sorry. He used to have a pretty explosive anger, but he matured and got healing and isn't so angry anymore. But it was something we had to walk through and work through. But he was so good at coming back and saying, I'm sorry, even to the children, I'm sorry I got mad. I'm sorry I exploded. Please forgive me. And they did. And it just made them close, as we have our children here tonight celebrating Valentine's Day. We're just the children, I call them children, but one's in their 30s and one's in their 20s, so they're not little anymore. And
They're grown up.
they're grown, but they're still our children, and they love each other, they love us, and that's the gratifying result if you can keep your marriage vibrant. And they recognize that very few of their friends have parents with long-term vibrant marriages, and the young people are drawn to the families when the couples are happy and in love and love their children and build a home around it. You don't have, it's not how much money you have, how much stuff you have, how successful you are. It's really how much love you share with each other. For me, I like to cook. So there's always baked goods. I'm always, got pitcher of tea. We live in the South. We make sweet tea here in South Carolina, and it's something that everybody gets offered: water, sweet tea, coffee. You have hospitality. You demonstrate that with each other, and it's going to show up in everybody around you, and you'll be a light with the love that you have for each other to others.
Certainly. And Miss Sally, prioritizing quality time, expressing appreciation, and nurturing emotional and spiritual connections further strengthen the bond as husband and wife. So, Miss Karen, would you like to plug something before we go on?
Yes, I'm thank you for that. I'm an art teacher, I'm an artist, and we have this wonderful art membership group that's been growing, and we meet 3 times a month live. We do an art exercise together. I teach also from art history, and it's very inexpensive. The whole family, all ages. The first class is on me. You're invited as my guest. You can find out more information, Karen Deloach Art at gmail.com. And I can give you more information and a Zoom link if you want to try it. We're going to be doing painting soon. So we're going to start our painting. We've been drawing for the last couple of months, and now we're going into painting. So I'm offering everyone to come join us. It's an ongoing class. So we'll be here for the long haul. So if you have any desire to stir up that creativity in your life, please join us.
That's be awesome. Let's support Miss Karen the Lodge, please. So that more coaching, more paintings, more books to come. So to wrap up our discussion for today, Miss Karen, how can couples maintain emotional intimacy over the years?
Well, Daniel, I think that is a real key to a happy long marriage is the emotional connection. It's not just the day-to-day things that we do together, somebody cooks, somebody works, somebody does the laundry, somebody does those are all important things you learn to ebb and flow about. But that
Yes.
emotional connection is what sets marriage apart. When God took part of Adam, part of himself out of Adam to create Eve, that she had part of God that Adam no longer had, and vice versa.
Yes.
There is a beautiful, deep spiritual connection between a husband and wife that is unique. It was the first commitment that God talked about is a husband and wife making a godly family by loving each other. We both bring to the table aspects of God and his love to each other and to our children. So be aware that you have a spiritual helper wants to help your emotional connection stay strong. And like Daniel was just saying, making it a priority to spend quality time together. And you know what that looks like for each other. I know for my son and his wife, they love beach time. It's not always beautiful weather for the beach, but they love to go and just be on the beach. And now they took their dog and now they take their baby to the beach. And that's a place where they feel, especially close to God and to each other, besides church. But that's what you need to find out, Sally. What do you and your husband love to do together that you can make sure that you keep that in your lives where your emotional connection stays rich? Like I said, keep the offenses short and the compliments long.
For sure. So, Miss Sally, a lasting marriage is not just about staying together, but about continually closing each other and fostering a partnership filled with love, harmony, and purpose.
Amen.
So,
Yes.
amen. I
Right,
hope we give you inspirational advice, and I hope you will continue cherishing your marriage through thick and thin. So, Miss Karen, another great episode for our letter senders. Please do send your love letters, your what do you call this? Your problems, your
questions.
anything. Yes,
Yeah.
anything you can send to us, and we will read it. Appreciation, complain, but we encourage you to please be grateful. Stop complaining. Be grateful for all your blessings. Count your blessing first before you complain.
That's right.
So, Miss Karen, thank you for your time.
God bless you, everyone.
More to come, people. See you soon.